One of the questions that I'm often asked is, when will fuels from algae be commercially available? And my response to that is they already are, because all of the fuels that we make come from algae. So all crude oil is simply ancient fossil marine algae, and some of the organisms that eat it. So what that tells you is that the oil that comes out of algae is crude oil, and that means that if we grow algae up now, we should be able to extract crude oil from it. And in fact, we can, and it works really well. So we can grow algae up, we can extract oil from it, and we can put that oil directly into a refinery. That is different than any other way we might make a fuel. So we could make a fuel by taking corn and degrading it down into sugars and then fermenting those sugars into ethanol, right? And that works, and we do that. That's about 13 billion gallons a year of corn ethanol. But that's really not the way that crude oil comes, right? That's not what it's made from. So it's in many ways, those are artificial systems that we had to turn into fuel, where algae is already the real deal. I predicted by 2018 it could be cost competitive, but that it wouldn't be available for probably another 5 years after that. And the reason for that is because cost competitive depends upon several factors. One, obviously, it depends upon what is the cost of fossil fuels, fossil crude oil. Today that was about $103 a barrel. My guess is that over the next 4 or 5 years, it's going to be $140 or $150 a barrel. Some people think it's going to be cheaper in the next 5 years. Most of those people, I think, are clueless about energy and where we really get it. So that's factor number one. Then factor number two is, what is the cost of algae oil today, and how much can we drop it in the next 4 or 5 years? The estimates that I've seen say that it's probably about $200 a barrel right now, and I think we'll be able to reduce its price. Let's just say optimistically we reduce it 30% in the next 4 years, and I think that's very achievable. That sort of gets it down to that $140 a barrel, fossil fuels up to $140 a barrel. Okay, now we have parity, and then once you reach parity, then the enormous investments that are required to take it to a scale that is meaningful, those will come in. So Exxon and Chevron and British Petroleum and everybody else, once they see that they can make money on it, they will invest the billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars that are needed to get this to big scale. How do I know that's true? Because fracking this year, we're going to spend about $175 billion on that. 3 or 4 years ago, we didn't spend any money on fracking. Why do we spend that money today? Because oil got to $100 a barrel. Fracking can be profitable at $100 a barrel, probably cost $90, $95 a barrel. The minute it got economically viable, enormous sums of money got put into it. I think the same thing will happen in algae fuel. So we need to keep making progress on the science so we can reduce its price 30%. Fossil fuel needs to come up 30%. Parity crossover, enormous investments. Then, once those enormous investments come in, still takes 5 years to build all of the facilities that will produce hundreds of millions of barrels. And that's really the number you have to get to be meaningful. Before you and I can buy it in a store, we're not going to buy it in a store when 1 million barrels are made. That's going to go to the Navy, or that's going to go to somebody at very, for very specialized fuels. 100 million barrels, 1 billion barrels, okay, then you and I will be able to buy it.